If you are moving to Sedona, the biggest mistake is not picking the wrong house. It's picking the wrong area, because two places here can be 10 minutes apart, can feel totally different ways. One feels calm and local, and the other feels like you accidentally moved into the middle of a weekend.
And when you look at Sedona on the map, a really clear pattern starts to show up. So in this video, we're breaking down three things. First, which areas feel the most livable for full-time life, and not just on weekends here in Sedona. And second, which areas are the best, the long-term game if you want quiet views and a real neighborhood feel. And third, where buyers sometimes misjudge the vibe, overpay for the wrong area, and how you can avoid that mistake.
If we haven't met yet, we're Greg and Cami Goucher with the Living in Sedona group, and we help people relocate to Sedona and buy the right home in the right area with the right expectations, so you don't end up loving the house but regretting the location.
All right, let's get started with the area that usually makes Sedona feel the most livable for the day-to-day life, and that's West Sedona.
This is the area that we call the livability lane. A lot of full-time buyers end up west of the Y in the center of town because everyday life just feels easier here. You're positioned to avoid a lot of the uptown bottlenecks, which matters because uptown is where most of the shops, the restaurants, and the visitor traffic concentrates.
And if you plan on living here full-time, that convenience matters more than people realize.
From a housing standpoint, West Sedona also gives you the more variety. You're not just locked into the tourist core condos or the luxury gated communities. It's a mix, which is why so many full-time relocators start their search here.
If your goal is for Sedona to function like a town, not just a vacation destination, West Sedona is actually where people land. And right now, Sedona's average sale price sits around the $1.2 million range, and West Sedona addresses typically fall right in the same general baseline.
Now, if you like West Sedona's convenience, but you want the walkable version of Sedona, where the energy is right outside your door, the second area may appeal to you more, which is the uptown area.
This is the walkable, right in the middle of everything lane. And if you visited Sedona before, chances are you've spent some time here.
One of the biggest advantages is that you can realistically park once and then stroll. And that's very rare in Sedona. For second home buyers especially, uptown can feel really fun because your day-to-day becomes walking to dinner, getting a drink, going for coffee, or shopping.
But the trade-off is exactly what you'd expected. This is the busiest area of Sedona. So your tolerance for crowds and visitor traffic matters more here than almost anywhere else in town. Now, if you like the walkable Sedona feel, but if you want something more that feels a little more curated, the next area has a totally different vibe, and that's the Tlaquepaque area.
This is Sedona's Arts Village lane. Tlaquepaque isn't just a shopping stop. It's a real cultural anchor with galleries, courtyards, and restaurants. And the setting is a big part of the appeal.
It's the kind of place where people park and linger. And you wander between galleries and grab dinner and spend some time in the courtyards. Buyers who care about the arts scene or the classic Sedona atmosphere tend to gravitate here.
It's a great middle ground if you want walkability, but not quite the full uptown intensity. Now, if you like that curated Sedona vibe, but you want bigger views and more of a residential feel, area number 4 is where a lot of buyers gravitate to. But it's not all rainbows and sunshine, and that's the Chapel area.
This is the big view lane that a lot of buyers picture when they imagine living in Sedona. The whole area is anchored by the famous Chapel of the Holy Cross, which sits dramatically right in the Red Rock formations. So the scenery here is incredible, but you're still outside the busiest uptown visitor blocks.
People who move here usually want the views and trail access to feel like normal daily life, and they want quieter residential streets compared to the main tourist areas. But the trade-off is still having to deal with the tourism traffic that is coming to see the Chapel of the Holy Cross or getting to some of the most famous hiking places in all of Sedona. And buyers really need to understand that micro-location matters a lot here.
The two homes can be very close on the map, but feel totally different depending on the privacy, road placement, and traffic flow. Now, if you like the chapel area views, but want something a little more tucked away with larger properties, Area 5 is one of the most scenic areas just outside the main Sedona corridor. And we are talking about the Red Rock Loop area.
The Red Rock Loop area is one of the most beautiful residential areas in Sedona, and the entire area is surrounded by incredible red rock formations and open space. It feels quieter and more rural compared to a lot of Sedona. A lot of buyers like this area because it feels more private and residential, so you can get that tucked away feeling without feeling isolated.
So if your Sedona dream involves sunsets, views, and quieter streets, this area is definitely an area that you want to consider taking a look at.
Now, if you like those quieter residential areas, but you want a stronger community feel and more everyday convenience, number 6 is where a lot of full-time buyers end up, and that's in the village of Oak Creek.
You still get the Red Rock lifestyle, but day-to-day life feels more like a traditional residential community. You've got grocery stores, restaurants, golf resorts, and easier day-to-day routines.
And many buyers find that they can get more house for the money. Something to note here in the village of Oak Creek is the zip code change, which means price change. Most of Sedona, in fact, all of the areas that we've discussed thus far, are located in the 86336 zip code, which carries that higher average price point of the $1.2 million range. Whereas in the village, the average price point is just $770,000. Another plus, you're right next to the iconic areas like Bell Rock, Courthouse Butte, and Lee Mountain, which means incredible hiking and scenery are still right outside your door.
Now, if you want something that feels even more like a retreat, number 7 is a totally different lifestyle and one that may not be as popular as some of the other areas, and that is the Oak Creek Canyon.
This is the canyon and creek lifestyle area. Living here feels completely different from living in Sedona proper. You're surrounded by trees, canyon walls, and the creek itself.
The drive through the canyon on Arizona State Route 89A is one of the most beautiful drives in northern Arizona. The Arizona Office of Tourism describes Oak Creek Canyon as sitting between Sedona's Red Rock Country and Flagstaff's Pine Forest. And people who buy here want that retreat energy, and they're choosing shade, water, and nature over convenience. So errands might take a lot longer, but the setting is the whole point.
In fact, from a market standpoint, it behaves completely differently than Sedona because it's a smaller area with fewer transactions. Redfin's Oak Creek Canyon Market shows just one home sold in December of 2025, which is a good reminder that pricing can swing month to month with low volume. And finally, if you want the most private and luxury-focused lifestyle that Sedona can offer, number 8 is a completely different experience.
Number 8 is the Boynton Canyon area.
Which includes 7 canyons, the Enchantment Resort, and Airy.
This area is less about walkability and more about lifestyle and privacy. So if someone wants Sedona to feel like a private luxury retreat instead of a tourist destination, this is the area they explore. But it also comes with a hefty price tag.
All right, those are 8 of the most important areas to understand if you're thinking about moving to Sedona.
But the real key is figuring out which one matches how you actually want to live, not just what looks good on the map or the listing photos.
If you want help narrowing that down, we'll map it out with you based on your budget, how often you want to deal with crowds, and what you want your day-to-day routine to actually feel like and look like.
There's a link in the description below where you can schedule a quick call with us.
We're Greg and Cami with the Living in Sedona group, and we help people relocate to Sedona and buy the right expectations so you're not questioning what you bought from the photos.
We'll walk through what each area feels like in the real day-to-day living. and what buyers are doing in the Sedona area right now.
Again, reach out with any questions. We love talking about all things Sedona. Make it a great day at Living in Sedona, and we'll see you next week.